Welcome back to Green Pro. In this video we're going to cover how to complete your heat pump design calculations and also your performance estimate on the Installer Toolkit. So if you don't have the tool on here when you start, just select New Tool, Heat Pump and Save, and if you click Start it'll take you into the calculator. So we just start with surveyor name and date at the top, and then here it's going to ask for some details about the heating system. So this issue number needs to be left as the most recent just to ensure that you're compliant. Does the property have a valid EPC? If it does, then you can enter the details into here. If not, then you can come back and fill these in later on once the EPC has been completed. Space heating. So will space heating be supplied by the heat pump? We selected yes. With the calculation method, if you leave it as calculated, it will pull through the heat loss calculation that you've done on the toolkit and the figures from that calculation. If, for example, somebody else completed the heat loss calculation, just gave you these figures, you can select manual and input these manually on here. Same with the hot water. If you leave this as calculated, it'll use the domestic hot water calculation that you've completed on here. But again, you can select manual and put these details in yourself if you wish to. The SCOP calculation for the hot water, this needs to be left as calculated. MCS basically stipulate that if you're using space and hot water heating, then it has to be a figure of 1.75. So if you select calculated on here, it'll just pull the correct figure through for you. It'll ask you if you're using any other heat source. If you are, then you can just click yes, select the fuel that's used, the efficiency and the cost per unit. If you can't find these, then you can usually find them online. Then you just need to enter the financial information at the bottom, so cost per unit of electricity. If you can get the figure from your customer's electricity bill and get their exact unit price, then that's the best figure that you can put in here. But if you don't have that, maybe the property's not built yet, there's nothing in there just yet, you can just use the average electricity prices. Cost per unit fuel for existing heat sources. So for example, if they've already got a gas boiler in there, you can use the unit price for gas. Again, if it's not built, there's nothing in there at the minute, you can just use a non-renewable comparison. So if the heat pump wasn't in there, you might use a gas boiler. So you could just use the unit price for that, just so that the customer does have a non-renewable comparison to look at. And then your total cost of installation is the total price that you are charging the customer. We'll then go through to the heat pump details. So you've got air source heat pump, or you've also got a high temperature option as well. So in here, just going to put a Mitsubishi heat pump. So to show you where to get these details from, say you know the heat pump, you know the model, but you're not quite sure what the certificate number is, you can just click product search and it will take you to the MCS product directory. You can search by manufacturer in here. So if we find Mitsubishi, search, you can see the one that I've used is here at the top. So if you just click the drop down, you have all your information about the heat pump in here. So you can see here you've got your certification number at the top, and that can just be put into here. And then your capacity at design conditions, just need to remember that this, as advertised by the manufacturer, will be based on certain design conditions that you're not necessarily using. So you need to check the manufacturer data and get your capacity at the flow temperature and the outside design temperature that you're basing this on. So you can see here it's pulled through your space heating design temperature that you've entered previously. The star rating here, this is based on your flow temperature and oversize factors. If you want a bit more information about that, that's explained in the heat emitter guide, which is in the external documents section of your QMS. It's saying here annual space heating is met by the heat pump 100%, so that's great. The SCOP of the heat pump at the flow temperature. So for this, we just need to go back onto this product directory, find the flow temperature that we're using. So we're using 45 degrees here, so you can see the figure is 3.83, and we just need to enter that figure into here. And then it's pulled through your domestic hot water figures beneath for you as well. That will produce your heat pump design calculations. So you can see at the top you've got your space heating figures up here, then you've got your water heating figures, any other heat sources which you've included, and then there's also some running costs down here. So you can see here you've got your unit price for electricity and the cost of electricity that's expected over the year. So once you've done that, you can move on and do the system performance estimate as well. So this uses the same product directory page that we used previously. So you can see here it's asking you for all these SCOP values for all these different flow temperatures. So you just need to go back into your product directory, go to the top of here, and you're basically just copying and pasting this information across. So select all of those figures, click copy, then you're just pasting them into this one box here, and you can see then it automatically just puts them all into the correct boxes down the left hand side. You can just click save. So it's just a question at the top. You just need to say whether the estimate relates to a new build or proposal for extension or a reduction in size of an existing building. It will pull through the EPC data up here that you've entered. If you've not yet put in any EPC data, it will use the figures that you've calculated on here. It then pulls through the new system information for you, and you just need to enter the current heating system information at the bottom. Again, if it's a new build or there's nothing in there yet, you can just use a comparison of what might have gone in there instead of the heat pump. Just need to put the age of the system, if there is one in there already, and then it will pull through an efficiency figure for you. And this will produce your performance estimate document. So you can see here there's just your EPC information summarised here, your new system information in this section, and then existing or comparison heating system here. And then at the bottom you've just got a section which has a graph which basically shows how the flow temperature of the system affects electricity consumption over the year. So that's how to do your calculations and your performance estimate. Once you've done these sections, you can move on and complete the proposal section at the end. So this produces a nice customer facing document with a lot of explainers, just so that your customer fully understands the system that you're proposing to install. There is a separate video on the channel which covers this and talks you through how to produce that document. But as always, if you do have any issues, just get in touch with your consultant. Thank you for watching.